Welcome everyone to Jay Abraham Deal Makers Extraordinaire. It is a pleasure and a privilege to be working with you. Some of you are joining us again from being in our beta program. Welcome back. Some of you are joining from our challenge, and some of you are joining from a Black Friday promotion, and some of you are, I don't know how you heard about it, but you saw the opportunity and you are a deal doer and you decided to take action and make an investment on your behalf. Congratulations. You've made an excellent decision. Now, I'm going to make a very brief introduction. However, I want to let you know that the long onboarding, how to get the most out of the program is going to come after Jay gives us the value, the insights, the opportunities, the stories, I'm just so excited to get Jay on that I'm going to put that at the end, but make sure you have a notepad, make sure you stay hydrated, make sure you get your brain in your optimal state to get as much as you can out of the next 120 minutes. And at the end of this, Jay's going to turn it back over to us to make sure that you're getting everything you need. We're going to go over how the program works and all those details. So set that aside. It's coming. So relax, get your mind ready to get all you can from what Jay's about to deliver. And thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us. Close the doors, put your phone on airplane mode. My name is Brian Oney. This is Scott Sylvan Bell. We are going to be your coaches and advocates. And as we're getting started here, please put in the chat to us. We want to start building your profile. Put in the industry you're in, the business you're in, if you're in a business, the opportunities you're looking for. Just let us know a little bit about yourself in that chat. Send it to us as the host and panelists. And then we don't want it distracting everyone. We want everyone focused on Jay. So take your notes. If you do have a question, put it in the chat. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Scott, any welcoming words?
Yeah, get ready to take some notes and take massive actions as being part of Deal Makers.
And with that, Jay, are you ready?
Yeah, sure. Here I am.
All right. Welcome.
Okay. You got me? Hi, everybody. Yep. So today is let's call it launch day. It's the beginning of a journey, an adventure that I hope, no matter what your end game objective is, will bring you into a really successful trajectory for the rest of your life. Because what I want to share in the next whatever number of weeks we have together is a sequential process designed to transfer and transform you, transfer profound knowledge that I have been very blessed to learn and experience and observe and execute on my own, that has generated billions of dollars for people who've used it, not just my clients, but the statistics, which I'll go through in a minute, for the corporations that use it are out of this world. There are 3 or potentially 4 categories of people that are on this call. And I think this is a test. This is a secondary group. This is the first full group we have ever done this way. So I'm going to put a lot into it, but I'm going to put it into it in progressions. I'm going to tell you exactly what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, why we're going to do it, so you are not ever surprised or curious or wondering or any kind of a confusion. But there are 3 to 4 types of people here. There are those of you who own a business that to some degree you feel either is resource impaired or growth constrained, and you're not getting where you want it to be, revenue, sales, status, anything wise, by the conventional way you are doing it. There are people that want to learn this so they can go to a business that is significant enough, but not exploiting ethically all their partnering opportunities. and get a job or develop a profit center together that they full-time manage. There are people that want to basically be deal makers and do deals with a broad spectrum of people. And there are people that want to use deal making to get control of an or multiple assets and access to create passive income for themselves. Most of my work is with operating businesses. It is not with people that want to go into this business, but I'm going to skew a very reasonable portion of the education so that it has total application to everyone. Now, the way I'm going to do this with you, and we're going to start today, is the same way that it was done to me. Experientially, storytelling-wise, experimentally. I started out in 1970 something, very young, and was introduced very quickly to one of many variations of this, and it transformed my life. Since then, I've probably been exposed to over 100 derivatives, different ways you can do it, different applications, different understandings of leverage and assets. And I'm going to try over the course of the time together to enlighten and illuminate you to as many of them as I humanly can. And it's not going to be singular communication. Today, it's going to be me setting it up, me explaining in a very different manner what I understand to be truth that you may or may not. And this version is called Deal Makers. It's really JV Deal Makers. We have 9 million names I've given it, but it's really had many iterations and incarnations. Originally, when I started introducing the foundations, it was called mining, managing, and maximizing relational capital. How to prosper through other people's assets and access. Then it became the Unlimited Business Checkbook, which basically was designed to show any entrepreneur, any professional, any startup, any operating business person who felt they had a limited amount of resources, not enough money, not enough expertise, not enough salespeople, not enough whatever, that someone else always has it. You have to figure out who that someone else is, and then find a way to correlate what you need that they have, and how, if they made it available to you and you harnessed and harvested correctly, it would produce either or both increased profit or reduced expense. And both of those could be measured so you could share that with the provider of that resource that you needed, so that he or she would be motivated to make it available. Then it became JV Deal Makers, because I realized if you don't know how to make the deal, knowing how powerful the mechanism is a Pyrrhic victory. It's worthless. So it really is this embodiment of understanding how to upside leverage an infinite amount of other people's assets and access. And assets can mean tangible things, but it can mean intangible things. Prospects, buyers, distribution channels, platform, media, salespeople, brand, relationships, physical facilities. Access means just that. Having your company, your product, your service, or your clients or your partner's product or service being offered in a very credible way. When I first learned this, it became very, very evident to me that the key to this was that other companies, other organizations other associations, other media sources, other influencers had invested in unimaginable amounts of time, years, money, overhead, facilities, technologies, performance to earn their market or their audiences or their clients or their customers or their patients trust, credibility, and respect. And that you were able, if you understood how to properly harness and channel the power of this, you were able to plug instantly into that multi-year, hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars of cumulative investment that had been made. And instantly you got access to all of that outcome that that company had spent countless years and efforts achieving. That was pretty exciting. The next thing I realized was the multitude of ways you can do it. The typical and the probably default understanding is you use it to generate revenue. You use it to get access to buyers. And that is the default way most people do it. However, you can do it to reduce overhead. You can do it to get technology. You could do it to buy into other larger companies' contracts with vendors so you get a lower cost of product, service, or raw goods. You can do it to use other people's equipment, transportation, storage, manufacturing. You can do it to take advantage of technology other people have. We have somebody who just made a really cool deal. He's got a point of purchase system that he spent $500,000 building, and he just partnered with a very large group that doesn't have one, and he gets a share of the increase that's measured by letting them have it, and they're paying all the cost of his programmers and his technology people modifying it and installing it. You can do it to take advantage of facilities. Let's say you wanted an office in many different parts of the country or the world, and you have no money to do it. Let me turn this off. Excuse me 1 second. I'm at home, by the way, and this is a real background, so it's not just my screen. It happens to be one of my living rooms. I have 2 living rooms, and this is one of them. And I'm sitting here. You might hear also, I have 2 very wonderful, but very old pug dogs. They're almost 14 each. They're blind and they're deaf, but they're darling. So sometimes they get lost and they're semi-senile. So if they bark, I apologize. You can use this to get offices anywhere. You can use this to get access to people's talent. You can use it if you don't have HR, somebody else does. The point is, it's near infinite, and probably, and I haven't really devised yet the exact schema of this, but probably the 3rd or 4th segment, we will start doing checklists. And those checklists will be done, first of all, for you to understand all the possibilities. And then secondly, they will be created so depending on what you want to do. If you own a business, you can go through the checklist and you can identify all kinds of upside opportunities through partnering. Power partnering is what I call it, joint venture mastery, and the deal making. And the deal making is really the culmination. It's understanding the leverage points. It's understanding the motivations that need to be done. It's understanding win-win. It's understanding how to overcome inherent resistance, apprehension, uncertainty, and unfamiliarity, and combining that to successfully structure a transaction. And that's just part 1, because once you've structured the transaction, That's a Pyrrhic victory if you don't make the transaction pay off and monetize. So it is learning to understand all of those. I drive people crazy, and I might drive you crazy today because I am like a human bullet train. Anybody's ever been to Japan or China or wherever else they have one, I have. You get on them and you don't strap yourself in and go from 0 to 300 in about 1 second. You go 20 miles, then you go 30 miles, then you go 60 miles, then you go 100 miles, then you go 150 miles. And all of a sudden you are doing 300, but you're not doing it G-force out of the gate. That's how I teach. That's how I train. I am all about crock cooking, not flash searing. The very problem that can't talk. The very problem with most training methodologies are they are temporary in effect. There is research, and I don't want you to be one of these statistics, that literally people who attend seminars, workshops, conferences, even consultations typically retain a maximum of 9% of what they learn. They don't even remember 91%. And that assumes it's very linear, that it's very easy to grasp and compartmentalize in the framework of the way your mind historically has been taught to learn. If it is nonlinear and if it's very explosively breakthrough-ish in its content and context, then your mind is tripping out on a concept you've never been introduced to that hopefully excites you. And so you don't hear half of what was said, and it means you only retain about 4.5%. I can't stand wasting a lifetime of profound proprietary information for a 4.5% retention. So I have a style. I encourage you to listen frequently to each segment, not for my ego's sake, but because there is inordinately compelling proof, and this applies to anything you ever experience, that process learning outperforms on a result, success, and expert mastery level event training by incalculable amounts. Event training is one and done. You hear this, you go, yeah, it's great. I can't wait till next month or next week. I'm excited. And you retain 4.5%. But if you repeat it, and each time you repeat it, you try to stop and say, okay, what did I just learn that I didn't know before? What insight makes sense now that connected a dot that I missed when I got tripping out because I was so excited about understanding whatever Jay said? And you repeat and you repeat. And I will re-review every time we begin a session, not because I don't know it. I know so much, I can't remember all that I know, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I don't want you intellectually entertained. It would be a profound waste of your investment, and it would be an even more profound waste of my investment in you, and I don't like to waste at my age my investment. And if I sound harsh, I'm not. I have tough love because I don't do things to entertain. I do things to take action and have people move their needles. Okay, so how did I learn this? I started out and I learned it accidentally, and I did 3 accidental discoveries and then it congealed. So the first accidental discovery I did was when I was very young and I got involved with Icy Hot. The band that, and by the way, I'm going to tell these stories deeply, and I'm going to tell them meaningfully, and I'm going to tell them dimensionally. And if you go, well, I want to get to the good stuff, this is the good stuff. Without appreciating the dynamics behind, you can't access them. It's like I gave you, you're a mechanic, and I give you the most complex but powerful and championship worthy race car, but you don't have a clue how the engine works or the transmission or the drivetrain or anything. And if it gets, you don't know how to really harness it. You don't know how to tune it. You don't know how to fix it. You will when you tolerate my style. So I'm young. I go to work for the company that owned Icy Hot. The man that ran it was a very, very, very forward-thinking entrepreneur. He had many businesses, but he had a very interesting edict. He would not pay out of pocket 1 penny for marketing or advertising. However, he would pay a rather generous amount for results. Fascinating. At the time, I didn't understand the dynamics I was being introduced to, but he threw the gauntlet down and he said, Jay, if you can find radio stations, television stations, magazines, newspapers, people that